Red flags are out here at the Waterhays Trophy final. Let's take a look at what happened going down the start and finish straight after 3 laps of action. Murray gets into a tangle as cars head down to Cox Corner. Cars flying up in the air there. Both drivers okay though. A 12-lap restart will take place for the 2013 Waterhays Trophy then. It's Scott Melvin on the outside. That's the pole position car. That's Kevin Hara alongside of the Irish driver. Competing in his first Waterhays Trophy final. Hello, Scott Melvin. The lights go out then, and the cars get away, and it's a good start from Melvin. He takes the lead as they head down towards Cobb's Corner for the first time. Then is O'Hara going to slot in second. It's very close as the cars in the second row of the grid. White and Ederson were into that, and it's actually Ederson, the American, as they head into Brooklyn. So it's Oliver White going round the outside. So Oliver White, the driver who competes in the champion of brands usually, he goes into second place, squeezing right behind him. It's Scott Melvin making a break already on the completion of the first lap. He won his heat and he won his semi-final earlier on this afternoon. So it's White there in second, right behind him is American Jacob Ederson. In fourth position, that was the number 2 car. That is Ben Mitchell. His younger brother Sam is just out in the historic and classic race, so everybody completes the first lap then. A few stragglers, one of them being the second of the Americans. That's Joey Bickers. He's had an off on the first lap, and look at the bad of a second then. Ben Mitchell gets up on the inside of Oliver White. He's following the 22 car of Ederson. Jake Ederson in second place, but White goes back up on the inside of Ben Mitchell. Then Ben Mitchell coming back. Ederson was all over the AstroTurf there, and now White's got a good run on him. So Oliver White, who looked like he was going to lose out to Ben Mitchell, is now going to come up on the inside line, but he can't do that because Ederson defends. It's got Melvin all the time pulling away from the pack. And who's going to come in second as they turn for the corner? Right, Ederson was in front. The gap after just 2 laps of race is 2.04 seconds between Scott Melvin in the Spectrum and then Ederson in second position in the Ray. Into Brooklyn's and Ben Mitchell again looks up on the inside of Oliver White, but once again Oliver White fights his way around the outside. Now they turn their way around Luffield. Melvin continues to extend that lead, and then the battle from second backwards. It's just a long queue of 4 1600 cars, and now it's Ben Mitchell who's under threat for 4th position. So they come up across the line to complete the 3rd lap of the race. Ben Mitchell has the number 20 car, Chris Middlehurst, looking up on the inside as they head into Cox Corner. Gaggles of cars all the way through the pack. It's from second all the way back, I think, to about Josh Barnett in about 30th position. That battle for second. And they're starting to get away now though. It's Ederson and White, and it's the battle for 4th that concentrate on this time, because round the outside of Ben Mitchell is that Chris Middlehurst. Yes, Middlehurst goes through then. Middlehurst up into 4th position. Just behind the pair of them, Ash Crossy, who usually competes at Castle Combe there. And then I think behind him it's Josh Fisher in that 1989 Reynard, going really well at the back of that quartet. Behind them it's side by side. Crossy looks on the inside of Mitchell. Mitchell then comes out and looks on the inside of Middlehurst. They're 3 or 4 wide in the mid-pack. I think Peter Dempsey involved in that in the 1992 Swift. See the pit board going out to James Cole. He's in 19th place. The driver who competed in the first half of the season in the British Touring Car Championship. Now there's Scott Melvin, big lead, and it's a battle for 5th even. It's Mitchell defending from Crossley. Crossley looked on the inside, unable to do anything. Josh Fisher just behind them too. So they come down towards Luffield, 4th, 5th and 6th all together. It's Fisher just dropped away from these 3 cars this time, and in front it's still Ederson just ahead of White. And there's Kevin O'Hara just behind Josh Fisher. O'Hara, something happened to him on the first lap which caused him to drop to the bottom half of the top 10. He's fighting back now though, is the Irish driver, and now he's looking around the outside of Josh Fisher as they head, and he's got through already before they even reach to Cox Corner, using the slipstream and the exit to Luffield to his advantage. Mid-pack cars dicing left, right and centre, all trying to gain a position. Formula Ford 1600 race at its very best here at Silverstone, and into Brooklands. That's Scott Melvin, big lead still. Battle of 4th is the real dice. Almost 3 wide. Crossy on the inside of Mitchell, but Mitchell uses that outside line, a bit of extra speed around there. Then you have the inside with Luffield, so Mitchell stays in that 5th position. Now they put the power on the exit of Luffield corner. Middlehurst, who's the Formula Renault BARC champion this season. Now, what's happened here? That's Ivan McCullough, last year's Formula Ford Festival winner, has had a spin at Luffield. He rejoins them further down the pack. McCullough hasn't been so successful this season in the two end-of-season Formula Ford races. Formula Ford Festival, which took out last week, was won by Noel Murray. Noel Murray out of the race. The incident involved, which he was involved in, that caused the red flag on the completion of lap 3. There is Scott Malvern then. He hasn't done that much racing this season. What about the battle for 4th though? There's 2 pairs of them coming into Brooklands, and it's Crossy on the inside of Mitchell then. Mitchell all over the extra turf, bounces across the grass, but round the outside and goes Ash Crossy, and now Kevin O'Hara trying to do the same thing. Unable to do it though, as now they exit Luffield. We've got another trio of cars closing them in, being led by Josh Fisher in the older Reynard. Up across the line they come, and now here comes Ash Crossy. He's just got past Ben Mitchell. He's now trying to get ahead of Chris Middlehurst, the Formula Renault champion, unable to do it. It's last year's Formula Renault champion. Scott Malvern leads the way, 2011 Formula Ford Great Britain Championship as well. Unfortunately, Scott Malvern not quite got the funds to do a full season of racing this year. He competed in the first round of the EcoBoost Formula Ford Great Britain Championship, but what about the out of a second? Because Oliver White's on the attack round the outside of Jacob Edison, unable to do that. What about the battle for 4th? Because that's just behind. Too many battles to watch here. And it's Mitchell who's going trying to get back to the back into 4th position. He's all over the AstroTurf, but now he's ahead of Chris Middlehurst on the inside line, and now Crossy and Fisher. It's almost 4 wide as they head through Luffield. It is 3 wide, and Middlehurst comes up in 5th position out of the corner. Crossy in 6th, and Ivan McCullough's had another spin out of Brooklands this time. Somebody's lost their nose coming in all that. What about the battle then for 4th position? Ben Mitchell looks like he's going to lose out once again to Chris Middlehurst, who's up on the inside as they head into Cops Corner, and it's Middlehurst ahead of Mitchell as they turn their way through Cops Corner then. Past half distance now of this 12-lapper. Fantastic action. Not so much for the lead though, because Scott Malvern's got a 4-second lead now. Really dominating proceedings. There he is, Mitchell, Malvern, I should say. Scott Malvern, number 18, the Spectrum, the Australian chassis that leads the way. The battle for 4th is where it's at though, and it is Middlehurst who goes back ahead of Mitchell. Ash Crossy's got the Kevin O'Hara car right behind. O'Hara the best of the Irish drivers. We've got Fisher, then Joey Foster. Slippery surface flags out there as well. Here comes up on the inside of Crossy comes Kevin O'Hara. O'Hara through Woodcote goes up on the inside line. Is he going to get ahead of him as they come across the line? Yes, he does. O'Hara gains the place. Now Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell over the top of the 4th place car. Sparks flew as he landed on the ground. That car of Chris Middlehurst was the car he went over the top of. Sparks flew, and White goes up into 2nd. Sparks flew as Mitchell cut back on the ground, lucky to continue, and he is continuing, as is Chris Middlehurst. Middlehurst leads this struggle, and now it's Kevin O'Hara goes up to 5th position. There's somebody runs out very wide. Is that Ash Crossy? Yes, it is. Of course, he slides back onto the road, but he's much further down. White and Edison almost side by side as they head through Woodcote Corner in 2nd position for White, but now Edison flies out the slipstream round the outside. We're about to battle for 4th because O'Hara round the outside. 2 wheels on the curb there as he tries, and he has. He's got ahead of Chris Middlehurst. Now Ben Mitchell there as well. Almost contact to the back of this. Fantastic slipstream in action. All the way around this Silverstone National Circuit. Works perfectly for this sort of racing. Wheel to wheel. All the way down the field, a set through in 3rd position because the Spectrum of Scott Malvern is just driving clear of the field. 2nd place, Oliver White, as Jacob Edison looking around the outside into Brooklands, can't do it, no. We're going to look back to 4th because they're 3 or 4 wide. It's O'Hara now that has stayed in that position. Middlehurst is losing out to Joey Foster, who's quickly now finding his way to the front of this gaggle, and Ben Mitchell going round the outside of Chris Middlehurst. Josh Fisher's going to try and squeeze up on the inside of the pair of them as they run out wide. The exit of Luffield. Mitchell all over that AstroTurf. That damp AstroTurf was allowed the Van Diemen to come back through. I should say the Reynard even of Josh Fisher to come back through. 2nd place for side by side as well into Cops. So much action going on here. It's hard to cover each battle. 2 laps is all that remains. 10 laps have been completed, And it's a 5.4 second lead for Scott Malvern as he continues to stride off into the distance. He turns into Brooklands then for the penultimate time. But what, about of a second. Caught up between the two cars. Edison on the grass, heading down to Brooklands. The car spins. He gathers it all up, but he's dropped to the back of this queue for fourth place, and it's a long queue. It's now, of course, about the third, and Kevin O'Hara is at the front of that, so Scott Melbourne will see the last lap board. He's on the pit board, the last, tell them with 1 lap to go of the Waterhays Trophy 2030. Oliver White now in a safe second position. In fact, it's a 13 lap race, that's the completion of lap 12. 13 laps they're getting. 7.7 second lead it is for Scott Melbourne, second position, 94 Oliver White, 35 Kevin O'Hara. In fourth, that's 56 Joey Foster. Then we've got Josh Fisher, Chris Middlehurst, 2 Ben Mitchell, number 10 car, somebody who haven't mentioned yet, that's Robert Marable. Final lap then, final time through the complex for number 80 Scott Malvern. He's become the 2013 Waterhays Trophy winner. Second Oliver White, third Kevin O'Hara, they're sorted. Battle for fourth, Joey Foster just ahead of Josh Fisher, who's had a fantastic race in that older car. Look at Jacob Edison, he's coming back through, just gone round the outside of Ben Mitchell, but the checker flag flies for Scott Malvern, who wins the 2013 Waterhays Trophy here at Silverstone. Oliver White second, third O'Hara, fourth it's going to be Foster, fifth Mitchell, battle for sixth though. That's going to go to Chris Middlehurst, just out of Jacob Edison, or is it Edison riding the slipstream as they come up across the line, comes up alongside him and can't get through. 6th then to Middlehurst, 7th to Edison, 8th to Robert Marable, 9th to Ben Mitchell, and 10th to Ash Crossy, who dropped back after off at Brooklands a few laps ago. James Raven come home 11th, 12th Peter Dempsey, 13th John Stevenson, then Robert Orgy and David MacArthur complete the top 15.